In the quiet town of Dunwich, an unsettling event unfolds. This serene and quaint town, once filled with the hustle and bustle of everyday life, has now been swallowed by an uncanny silence. A silence so profound, it echoes through the vacant streets and empty houses, whispering tales of an ominous occurrence. It all began with the sudden, inexplicable disappearance of the town's residents. One moment, they were there, going about their daily routines, and the next, they were gone, vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the ghostly echoes of their once vibrant existence. In the stillness that followed their departure, the town of Dunwich seemed to hold its breath, as if frozen in a moment of eerie anticipation. The usual humdrum of life was replaced by a deafening quiet, punctuated only by the occasional whimper of an abandoned pet, or the soft rustle of wind through vacant cars left in the middle of the road. Everywhere you looked, there were signs of hasty departures. Half-eaten meals lay cold on kitchen tables, their owners nowhere to be found. Playgrounds stood silent, the joyous laughter of children replaced by the chilling sound of swings creaking in the wind. Pets, now masterless, ran loose in the streets, their confused whimpers echoing in the deserted town. The mystery deepened as the day wore on. What could have caused such an abrupt exodus? Rumors began to circulate. Some whispered of an unknown plague, others of a government conspiracy. But the truth was far more chilling. As the daylight began to fade, the first hints of the town's unsettling secret began to reveal themselves. The shadows grew longer, the silence deeper, and the air colder. An ominous feeling hung heavy in the air, like a dark cloud ready to burst. Just as the last rays of the setting sun painted the sky with shades of crimson and gold, the true horror of Dunwich's fate began to surface. The town, once a picture of peaceful suburban life, was now the stage of a chilling horror story. As the sun sets, the town's unsettling secret begins to emerge. As darkness descends, the town of Dunwich starts to reveal its chilling secret. The quiet, quaint streets that once echoed with laughter now whisper with a grim tale. The town's residents, who had mysteriously vanished, have started to reappear, but they are not as they once were. They have transformed into something straight out of a horror story. These are not the friendly faces you'd pass on your morning walk. They're not the kindly neighbors who'd wave hello or the children who'd play in the park. No, these are the undead. Their eyes, once brimming with life, are now hollow and haunting. Their skin, once warm and full of color, is now a sickly shade of gray, stretched taut over sharp cheekbones. Their bodies move with a jerky, unnatural motion, as if controlled by some unseen puppeteer. And then there's the hunger. A hunger so intense, so insatiable, it consumes them. It's not a craving for the town's famous apple pie or for Mrs. Peterson's Sunday roast. No, this hunger is for something far more sinister, human flesh. They roam the streets in search of their next meal, their eyes vacant and unseeing, their mouths agape in a silent scream of hunger. The transformation of these once vibrant individuals into grotesque creatures is not just physical. Their personalities, their memories, their very essence has been wiped away, replaced by this monstrous hunger. They are no longer the people they once were. They are zombies. The town of Dunwich, once a haven of peace and tranquility, is now a playground for the undead. The laughter has been replaced by a chilling silence, broken only by the occasional moan of a wandering zombie. The streets are no longer filled with life, but with the walking dead. What was once a peaceful town is now a living nightmare. In the midst of chaos, a beacon of hope arises. Our unlikely hero, Sam. Meet Sam, your everyday local mechanic with a not-so-everyday fascination for zombie culture. He's the kind of guy who can tell a carburetor from a spark plug blindfolded. But his skills don't stop at the garage door. Sam's fascination with the undead runs deep, from graphic novels and movies to obscure zombie lore from around the world. When the first wave of the undead hit the town, our dear mechanic was as shocked as anyone. But shock quickly gave way to a strange sense of recognition. The shambling gait, the vacant eyes, the insatiable hunger. It was all too familiar. It was as if his favorite horror novels had leapt off the pages and into his quiet little hometown. But Sam was not one to be paralyzed by fear. The realization of the situation sparked a fire within him. This was not a time to cower. It was a time to fight back, to use the knowledge he had accumulated over countless late nights immersed in zombie lore. Sam knew that if he were to survive, he would have to rely on more than just his knowledge of the undead. He would need to use his mechanical skills to his advantage. He began to formulate a plan. He would fortify his garage, transforming it from a humble mechanic's workshop to a stronghold against the undead. He would modify his tools, turning simple wrenches and drills into weapons capable of halting a zombie in its tracks. His mind raced with ideas, each one bolder and more daring than the last. He knew the odds were stacked against him, yet he didn't falter. Sam understood that this was his moment, his chance to become more than just a mechanic, to become a hero. And so, armed with his wit and will and a garage full of potential zombie-slaying weapons, Sam prepares for the night of his life. He knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he was ready to face it head-on. After all, he was not just fighting for his life, but for the survival of his town. The night is young, and the undead are hungry. The battle for survival begins. The stillness in the air is shattered by the relentless moans of the undead. The once peaceful town is now a stage for a fight that is as much about wits as it is about brute strength. Enter Sam, our unlikely hero, armed with nothing more than his quick thinking and an arsenal of improvised weapons. Every corner turned, every shadow inspected, Sam moves with calculated precision. His heart beats in rhythm with the echoing footsteps of the undead, creating a macabre symphony of survival. His eyes, alert and fear-stricken, reflect the gruesome sight of the once familiar faces that now hunger for his flesh. With each passing moment, Sam's survival instincts sharpen. He transforms everyday objects into weapons of defense. A broken pipe, a shattered mirror, a loose brick. Everything is a potential lifesaver in his hands. His cunningness and resourcefulness become his armor against the relentless horde. The living room, the town square, the deserted grocery store. These everyday places are now battlegrounds. A swing of a makeshift bat here, a well-aimed throw of a brick there. Sam fights back the undead one encounter at a time. He darts and weaves, strikes and retreats, turning the town into a deadly dance floor of survival. Sam's courage fuels him. His determination drives him. Each fallen zombie is a small victory, a testament to his will to survive. Yet, amidst the chaos and carnage, Sam remains painfully aware that each encounter could be his last. But the night is not eternal, and as the first rays of dawn begin to pierce the darkness, Sam finds himself still standing. His body is battered, his spirit is bruised, but his resolve remains unbroken. He's made it through the night, but the fight is far from over. As dawn approaches, Sam is still standing, but the fight is far from over. With the first rays of the sun, Sam faces the biggest challenge yet. The dawn, usually a symbol of hope, feels anything but hopeful. Today, it's the backdrop of a showdown, the climax of a night that has turned Sam's world upside down. As the sun bleeds into the sky, painting a picture both beautiful and grotesque, Sam stands alone, facing an army of the undead. The horde of zombies, once his neighbors and friends, now stand as grotesque parodies of life. They are a chilling reminder of the fragility of humanity, a testament to the horror night has brought upon the quiet town of Dunwich. Sam, our unlikely hero, is not a soldier, but a simple man who found courage in the face of ultimate terror. His plan is desperate, daring, and dangerous, but it's the only one he's got. It's a last resort strategy, cooked up in the crucible of survival. It's a plan that puts all his knowledge, all his skills to the ultimate test. With a deep breath, he steps forward, his heart pounding in his chest like a war drum. He's armed with more than just weapons. He carries the weight of hope, the stubborn refusal to surrender, the will to survive. The battle begins. It's brutal, it's terrifying, it's a dance with death. But Sam fights not just for himself, but for every life lost, for every scream that echoed in the night. He fights because to do otherwise would be to give in to the darkness. And as the first rays of the sun grow brighter, the battle reaches its peak. It's a symphony of chaos, a testament to the human spirit's refusal to go gentle into that good night. As the sun rises, the once bustling town of Dunwich is eerily quiet again. Sam, against all odds, has survived the night, but at what cost? The dawn brings with it the promise of a new day, but also the harsh reminder of the night's horrors. It's a victory, yes, but a victory that has forever changed the face of Dunwich and the man who stood against the darkness.